Okay.
Think about it, I'll tell you. the
Good
truth.
evening, everybody, and welcome to the August 20th, 2026 meeting of the Amenia Town Board. It is 6:34, and I need a motion to retire into executive session, excusing the town clerk regarding personnel matters.
I'll make that motion.
Then we have to open the meeting.
I did.
Oh, you did.
I make that motion.
Is there a second?
Yes. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Um, Exit out of executive session.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'd like to call the public meeting to order at 7:04, and we'll start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the emergency exits are to my right, the two doors to my right, and roll call.
Supervisor Ham,
Here.
Council members Doyle,
Here.
Dietrich,
Here.
and let the record reflect that Councilwoman Ahern will be absent this evening.
Okay, and I make a motion to accept the agenda as written.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Public comment on agenda items. Nobody? Wow. Supervisor's report. It's pretty short, actually. Habitat for Humanity received an award of $185,000 for the single-family house on Depot Hill. That property has been closed, and they're ready to go, and I think they're hoping to get started by the end of this year. Hudson River Housing received an award of $199,000 to assist in the new construction of 4 houses for the Cascade Creek project. Eric Alexander, he's coming, and he'll talk more about it, but he asked me to announce it. Eric Alexander is bringing the full set of free government services to Amenia at the Amenia Affordability Fair on September 17th at 5 p.m. at Town Hall. And I have a flyer here if anybody would like one before you leave. We're going to learn about property tax relief, free services for seniors, savings on utility bills, low-cost veterinarian services, free hot meals delivered to your home, veterans services, prescription drug savings, Fresh Town discounts and savings, and more. And there's going to be many representatives here from different areas. I went to the Bog and Fen presentation last night. Which was sponsored by CAC, and it was really very interesting, and it was a lot of fun, and we created a little refrain or a little chorus song about bogs and fens.
Can you sing that for us?
No. I didn't sing it last night, and I will not sing it.
It was really good.
It was really good, and it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. And I learned a lot about bogs and fens and the difference between the two of them, and considering that we have a lot of bogs and fens and swamp and whatever, I mean, we are the epitome of those things, so it was great. I hope they have more programs like that. It was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to attending Amenia's Spycatcher this weekend. They're down there working hard on their rehearsals. The stage looks amazing. A lot of hard work has been put into this, and I hope everyone gets to see one of the performances, which are tomorrow night at 8 p.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. George is getting very nervous, but they look like they're doing a fantastic job down there, and they've been working very hard. I attended a meeting with Northwell yesterday with Eric Alexander and a couple of the other supervisors to continue the conversation with our county legislator and the chair of the safety committee. The next steps are going to be to talk about different models of providing EMS services. The next step is going to meet with fire chiefs from the surrounding communities and get input from them, and there will be more to follow. It's not on my sheet here, but I wanted to bring up an interesting thing that happened today. I got a complaint this morning about a tree on some wires on 44 at the corner of, kind of at the intersection of Lake Amelia Road and 44. Called NYSEG, they were very nice, they sent a crew out, they said not our wires, they're communication wires. Called Verizon, and they said we don't do trees. Called DOT, and they say we don't do trees with wires on them. And I called AJ, and he said that it is a problem. It is, so we have a lot of places where you see trees on wires. It's not that people are ignoring them. It's the fact that, legally DOT can't cut trees down. And I don't know what the issue is with Verizon. However, I did call AJ Beefin. He said he's very frustrated too because he's been dealing with some of that. And so he asked me to put it in an email, and he is going to then, try to do a complaint to FCC and some other organizations. But the long and short of it is, if you see that tree there, there's nothing we can do at this particular time. So hopefully it doesn't fall in the road, but that is what it is. Okay. Building, do you want to do your report or no?
Sure.
It's out of order.
That's okay. Okay, that's okay. The August 8th minutes have been circulated to the board for our August abstract totaling $193,093.63. This evening, I'm seeking authorization for the supervisor to pay claims as follows. General Fund A, $124,564.82. Highway Fund, $32,533.92. Amenia Lighting, $1,211.85. Wasaik Lighting, $468.38. Amenia Water, $13,854.66. Water District Capital Project, $865. Highway Garage Capital Project, $19,956, again for a total of $193,093.63. Is there a motion to authorize the supervisor to pay those claims?
I'd so make that motion.
Thank you, Vicki.
Second.
Thank you, Walter. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I do want to take note that in our packets this evening, we do have the building department report totaling the income for the month of July, $21,576.25. Also in our packets this evening, we find our water systems operator report provided by VRI. And I do see that we have Megan here in the audience who will have her own report. Okay.
Hello. So everything's been going wonderful down the highway garage. We've been pretty busy. The guys have been doing a great job. The rain, we've been fine with the rain. We've been keeping up with our mowing, trimming around our signs. We did go down to the new site. We mowed that once. I've seen in my travels some brush hanging in our sidewalks between Amenia and Wasaik. I had the guys go out one day and trim some of the areas. There's a little bit more to do. Next free day, we'll get back to that. We've done a little blacktop patching, have a little bit more to do. We've replaced a culvert up on Kennel Road, and we've added some more drainage. Last week, we worked with Peckham's down in the southern end, Wasaik. We sealed up Deep Hollow, Butts Hollow, Glen Avenue, Little Glen, Glen Hill, Oak Drive, May Lane, and Benton Road. Last year, we did a little project on Yellow City on the dirt section. We put a base down, which was reimbursed by our CHIPS funding. And this year, we put a top coat on it of 2.5 inches, resurfacing the entire road from Sheffield to Route 343. This also will be reimbursed by our New York State CHIPS funding. Summer seems to be flying by, and I've started to haul our sand in. And our material bids, for equipment and materials has gone out, and they were due back today. Dawn's been collecting them, and they would be opened on Monday at 10:30 a.m., and we should be awarding them at the next board meeting, September 17th. And last but least, we've been working with the town of Northeast with our shared service paver. It's been pretty much having some electrical issues all summer, so no one's really got to use it much. So we're trying to use what we can use it, flip it, and try to let everybody try to get a little use out of it. So Northeast has had it. We should have it next week, and they would come and help us, along with other towns, helping haul the blacktop in. And I plan to be doing some work on Separate Road. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you.
I have a question,
Mhm.
if you don't mind. If you can recall, it would be helpful for us to know what you can recall, if anything at all, for the pedestrian walkway that's just a gravel path from Borden Park, that
Yep.
little area on Furnace Bank Road and Nelson Bridge. There's a path that goes back to the Wasack Park. There's a dilapidated fence along that stretch. It's a split rail fence that I know we've tried to just Band-Aid in the past. But do you recall who installed that fence? And it's not on town property, and I don't know who maintains that path. But Metro North seems to not be aware of who maintains that. But I know somebody keeps the weeds down.
I've been there 22 years. I know I wasn't, it was before me.
You
I don't know
remember
who installed it.
ever doing any maintenance work on that to
No.
keep it free of weeds and such?
Nope.
Weird. Okay.
So somebody's weed whacking? or no?
Well, I just know that you leave a path for 20 years.
Yeah.
I do remember there being grass and such that we needed to do. I do remember when they extended this rail service up to Wasack Station from, I guess it was ended in Weendale previously, that they had put down item 4 and had asked us some questions about, what we wanted to do there. And we obviously needed access to Wasack Park maintained.
Mhm.
So they're looking through their records for a maintenance agreement to absolutely establish who does what, but they did claim that they don't maintain that split rail fence.
Mm.
But we'll keep looking in our records as well as to who installed it and who needs to fix it.
Yeah, I'll ask around, see if anybody
Okay.
remembers.
Thanks.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have our DCO here tonight, who came to give us some information. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for having me. Officer Kenneth Wallace, Town of Meany DCO, Town of Dover DCO, Town of Paulding DCO, and Putnam County DCO, also a constable for Town of Dover. So the last few months since I got hired back in November, I've come across 4 dumping cases in regards to, no, I believe it was 3 actually. Yeah, it was 3 dumping cases in regards to dogs being dumped in the area. It's a crime. Ag Market's 355. Still looking for information on that, trying to see if I can break any headway with that. It's really tough with those cases, especially when they get dumped on a back road. There's no cameras, there's no witnesses, and you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody for that. The issue is that Dutchess County has a problem in regards to animal cruelty investigations and which way that they are handled. Now, if it's a Dutchess County issue, it's an Amenia issue, it's a Dover issue, it's a Paulding issue, everywhere. So the biggest problem that we're having is having an agency that actually facilitates and does the animal cruelty investigations. The problem is that Dutchess County SPCA no longer has a humane law office anymore. They had their ORI ripped from them, and they can't prosecute or investigate. The sheriff's office took that over, I believe in 2022. The issue we've been having with that is that the sheriff's office either doesn't follow up, They disregard cases in most cases. They don't do the cases right. They don't investigate correctly. They don't have a vet evaluate the animal as soon as they pick it up. And the housing is kind of, it's back and forth issue. It's a back and forth issue because if they get them to voluntarily surrender, then they don't charge, which is the wrong answer. They should be still charging on top of the surrender. And now the other issue is getting a vet to actually evaluate the animal if you have a 24-hour vet. Most of the municipalities, obviously, we're not staffed with a 24-hour vet. So if I pick up an animal cruelty case in Dover, which I have law enforcement jurisdiction in Dover as a DCO because I'm a constable there, then I would bring it to the town vet. It's not always viable. I can't get it in there the first day. Sometimes it's a day or two later, so it can mess the case up. The other issue is placement. You know, some of these rescues are willing to help out. I know Happy Life Animal Rescue, who we have a shelter contract with, Lorraine and Roy Forrester that run the place. They've been very helpful with us. Pretty much anything that I've asked for, they have jumped through hoops for me pretty much, and I have done the same in return. So the town has a very good relationship with them as of now. Another issue is what if we come across a case where there's multiple dogs? So we're talking 30 plus dogs, because there have been cases in Putnam County that were like that. So the rescues are having issues as far as picking and choosing what they're going to keep and what they're going to take. Now, they can kind of spread it out a little bit if they want to, but the issue with that is that if it's, let's say they're all aggressive dogs, they may pick and choose if the county doesn't have a contract with them what they're going to take. But usually animal cruelty, they will take it for the most part. But that's the problem that we're having. We're having an issue with housing at the moment. And then some of these cases, if they're not surrendered by the owner voluntarily, they can be in limbo for months upwards to up to a year. So that's another issue that we're running into. So the rescues are complaining that we're not prosecuting humane law right as far as the sheriff's office goes. Not we, but the sheriff's office. They're complaining in regards to that. But the other issue is that they may have to hold it as evidence. Unless it gets surrendered, then it could be adopted out immediately. So that's another issue that we're running into. The issue that we have in Amenia, I'm just kind of spitballing and giving you some extra information here. The issue that we have in Amenia is that I don't have law enforcement status in Amenia. So as a DCO, all I can do is pick up and drop off and maybe pass that information off to the sheriff's office. Maybe it gets looked into, maybe it doesn't. I haven't had it happen in Amenia yet, but in Pauling I've had it happen twice. I've had an animal picked up, it was clear apparent signs of animal cruelty, you know, animal living in squalor, completely emaciated, not being taken care of, the list goes on. I would pass that off to a sheriff's detective. They would look into it, not even evaluate the dog, because they're looking at the wrong things. They would just evaluate the property, and then they would get back to me and say, yeah, nothing to see here. When there was clear apparent, I know as a professional that specializes in animal cruelty investigations that there definitely would have been charges 100% if it was my case. So that's the issue that we're running into, and yeah, so if anybody has any questions in regards.
I actually do have a question.
Okay.
I know that I've seen it, and I don't remember if I've seen it in New York or in Dutchess County, but some places are passing laws that if you have a dog that you've abused or given up or abandoned and you get caught, that you're on a do not allow to adopt.
So you're talking, I didn't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry, but in regards to the SPCA, I don't know what they call it. It's like a no-fly list or a blacklist that bars you from adopting. The problem with that is, and I've spoke to Lorraine about this issue too, is that some places use different programs. So they might use Shelter Buddy for one office and then use something completely different for another because it's not universal, it's not a blanket thing. So it doesn't stop people from getting animals that aren't supposed to have them in the first place. And that's another issue that we've been having in New York State for a long time, because I knew when I was doing animal cruelty investigations in Ulster County, we were also running into that issue. And people that weren't allowed to, they would just go across state lines and go to another area and pick up 50, dogs for their hoarding operation or their breeding operation, whatever that they were doing.
So is it possible to come up with a program, I mean, if the state passed a law or whatever, to come up with a program that covers everything?
It's possible, but that would be a state issue. That would be something I would bring up to AJ Beepan, so you could bring it up to him. I haven't spoken to him about this personally, but I know it's a problem, and I'm sure other legislators would agree with him on that topic. The issue that we have in Amenia is that nobody's actively investigating humane law cases, and I know there's probably a few of them as of right now, and nobody specializes in the topic. So the issue is that we have sheriff's deputies that may look at something. So for example, in Dover, it's already in the court right now. I've already submitted everything for discovery, so this is going to be public knowledge anyway. But I had 3 huskies that I seized pertinent to an animal cruelty investigation. Initially, I had probable cause, but they're huskies. They have very, very thick fur. It's very hard to tell if they're underfed or emaciated. If you look at them at close glance from one picture, you would say the dog's completely fine. Upon bringing them to the vet, because they didn't have dog licenses, so I had the right to seize as a DCO right then and there. And I wasn't sure if I had probable cause to seize for the cruelty, but I had them evaluated by a vet the next day. They were body scores of 1 and 2, which is the lowest on the scale, muscle wasting, completely emaciated. 2 of them were completely deaf because they had hardened ear canals because they had untreated illnesses and infections in their ears that were never taken care of, and that takes years. They were also being kept in an attic that was 100+ degrees, and the smell was so foul I couldn't even breathe in it. So I had multiple misdemeanors on each animal. So I had 1 count per misdemeanor for 2 misdemeanors. So it was 12 charges total between 2 people because they were both in the household, both knowingly doing something wrong.
Yes, and I know that you're going to piggyback off that. Do you want to do that?
Well, I wanted to ask, since you want to comment, that you were just recently approved.
Why don't you come up with
Oh, yeah, I wanted to get into those details too. So recently I was just approved to be the Humane Law Enforcement Liaison to the, I guess that's the title, for the Animal Welfare and Stewardship Committee for Dutchess County, which it was orchestrated by Anna Shaw and Representative Alexander right here.
Actually, he's a full member of the committee, representing the ACO community.
So I'm representing humane law and ACOs and DCOs throughout the county, and I'm bringing all their concerns, and we're going to try to come up with a solution.
Great. So, one other question. I've heard before in the town, and that is one thing for dogs, but what about the other animals, the cows, the sheep, the goats?
Exactly.
And, the horses. We deal with with dogs and cats to the best of our ability, but there are animals out there that are neglected.
Right.
So.
Correct.
So you're dealing with that?
And that is happening here from what I'm being told, but I don't have that kind of jurisdiction where I can look into, I can't investigate. I can only pick up a dog and drop it off at a facility, and I can be a good witness. That's all I can do in Amenia-Wassaic. The issue with housing as far as larger animals go, there are other places that are willing to facilitate, but we have to build relationships with them and build bridges, because we're having issues with Dutchess County SPCA. They're picking and choosing who they want to take at the moment. They're very selective in regards to what they can take, and they can't house horses, sheep, cows, any of that stuff, and they're part of the process too. It's not just dogs and cats, it's every domesticated animal. It could be something as crazy as like an exotic lizard or something, because we've had cases like that in Ulster County as well. And it's finding people that are able to house. So in order to prosecute a humane law case, the agency that has jurisdiction in that area they have to facilitate. They have to have a contract with a shelter that's willing to take it, and they have to have a 24-hour vet on staff at that facility so they can evaluate, so we can collect evidence. Otherwise, because we've had issues with the sheriffs and the state police, because they have certain clauses where they're not allowed to have animals in their vehicles sometimes, and that creates an issue in regards to who's prosecuting. So they expect the ACOs and DCOs to take the animal and bring it to where it needs to be, but there's nowhere to bring it sometimes, because it may just be a dog control thing and we don't have ACOs for that town. So that becomes another issue. So they have to transport as well. If they're the governing body that's prosecuting or looking into and investigating a humane law or a criminal case, then they have to have housing, they have to have a vet evaluate it, and they have to provide for that animal and hold it as evidence.
Anybody have questions?
So you're investigating the,
Agricultural and markets law.
so that we can find a way that will enable you to be more of a law enforcement arm, but it doesn't sound, these hurdles that you're mentioning sound impossible in a small town like ours.
It's a county-wide issue, but I wouldn't say it's impossible because I'm doing it in Dover right now. Yes, we have a shelter.
Do you have a 24-hour vet?
It's not a 24-hour vet, but if we can get him within like a day, usually we're safe. But the issue is that he's not always on call. I'm trying to fix that problem right now, but the issue is not going to get fixed in 2 days. But our evidence kind of wastes away if it's a cruelty case and it's something that's like actively healing, and the defense might look at it and say, well, it's not that bad, and try to articulate that to a jury. So that's the issue. We need to catch it in the moment when it happens. It's just like child abuse cases. They document everything right then and there. Touch nothing, alter nothing.
So shared services, that isn't an option for us to work together with Dover to solve this problem? I mean,
Well,
together?
I would like to, and shared services sounds like a great idea. That I'm sure that's something that
They have
I can't.
grants, they want
Yes.
towns to work with other towns to
Right.
reduce overall taxes
Right.
for their residents. So we can do
Absolutely,
things.
because the problem with these, and you want to talk about taxes. So this is what the issue is with animal cruelty laws. So it always starts with the animals. It always starts that's the bottom level where issues start as far as criminal activity, and then it gravitates over into child abuse. Then it gravitates over into spousal abuse, hoarding, extreme cases like that. Then it gravitates over into something much worse, all the way up to including probably capital crimes. So it's not just a county issue, it's a town issue, it's a public safety issue, it's a money issue, because if we'd have just caught something in the beginning where the dog was being abused versus the kids being abused or the spouse being abused, or, the sky's the limit as far as that goes. But if we cut it off at its source, then we can actually save taxpayers a lot more money in the long run.
So as a town constable, is the town constable able to?
The only people that can investigate humane law in New York State are peace officers, police officers, constables would fall under the peace officer category, and SPCAs, like actual SPCA designated investigators, which are still peace officers. DCOs cannot, ACOs cannot.
So several months ago, 2 months ago now, we started the conversation about this due to an incident that took place that we were dealing with. And that was one of the items that we were working with Dutchess County personnel to be able to get Officer Wallace's title to be added. What we've discovered and working with our legal counsel was that we would have to add him to our constable list, which is an easy fix.
Yeah.
With one minor additional fix. We just got to amend our constable law to add that job responsibility in under the constables. And
That sounds inexpensive.
I mean, that's.
And to expand on that, that's what Town of Dover does as well, I
And
believe.
so we did a little research. We had to see how they did it in Dover, and then that way we were able to follow through with that. So Ian and I started last month this conversation, and which is kind of like making it full circle, so that way you guys now have a better understanding why we want to add this responsibility with the intent that it is for Officer Wallace to be that person.
That sounds like a good first step, right? That would solve some
That,
of that.
my hope is to make Dover and Amenia the beacon and the example for Dutchess County. I'm going to show them what a humane law office should look like and how it should be investigated and how it should be handled. Because we have we have troopers and deputies and local PD even still, because I know other ACOs that are running into this issue, that are just botching cases and they're not investigating correctly, and it's causing a lot more issues. Or it just gets dismissed entirely and then it becomes a bigger issue down the road.
I think we should expedite this as soon as possible so that you have the authority that you need to
Yes, ma'am.
be taking more effective steps.
Right.
Okay.
I agree.
So we can do that at the next meeting and find out what the legal needs are to remedy this?
I'll look into the law, and if I can I'll draft it as soon as I can.
Okay.
It's just drafting the amendment, and then we introduce it, because it's got to be a delegated authority, which is the issue that we don't have here, and that's what they've done in Dover.
So the only thing, obviously, I would have to consult with the chief, but I would need access to the ORI and all that stuff because I have to actually process an arrest. I'm working on trying to get a live scan account for the town of Dover. I can try to get one for the town of Amenia by contacting DCJS, Department of Criminal Justice Services. So, because some of these cases, I've been told by the sheriff's office that some of the misdemeanors that I had charged in Dover were not printable offenses, so I didn't have to actually effect an arrest. I found out from Nick Listella, who's also on the Animal Welfare Committee for Dutchess County, who works for the District Attorney's Office. He told me that that is not true. It is 100% a arrestable offense. So we're having some growing pains, and we're trying to ruffle the right feathers, so to speak, but we're breaking ground, and I think we're doing good things over there. So my whole point on this whole thing is I want Amenia and Dover to kind of work together on this issue and be the example, because a lot of people are really upset at the SPCA. They won't start up another humane law office unless we take the name from them somehow, which I don't know how they're going to manage that. It's the list goes on as to, like, you know, fixable options. The problem is that nobody's trying to budge. So we're trying to fix that issue with the committee.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
I just appreciate that you are taking the initiative to try and remedy this and looking across town lines to see if we can't band together and make this a possibility for a small town.
Right.
Because if we could share veterinary expenses and
Absolutely.
all of that, then it might be more feasible.
Right. And if there's anything that I don't know, I'm sure you could ask Representative Alexander as well. I'm sure he probably knows a little bit more than I do on some of these things in regards to what's going on with the county, because I don't really know a whole lot what they do. It's mostly town matters for me right now, but as we have meetings in the future, I'll get more involved probably.
But it does sound brilliant what you're doing right now, so thank you very much.
Yeah,
Of course, thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to, you know, I use the same example every time. It just, hey, they need a voice too. So it's a topic I'm passionate about. I try not to get emotionally involved in some of these cases because as a lawyer, you know, it could mess it up. So I'm trying to, you know, be professional in the manner in which I handle things and treat everybody the same. And it's a tough job, it really is, but somebody's got to do it. And if I'm not going to do it, then who is?
Thank you. And I see that we have our county legislator, Eric Alexander. Do you want to, we'll slip you in here?
Thank you. Just to add a little bit to what ACO Wallace said, yeah, we formed this committee to address the issues that he's brought up. You know, like a lot of us here, I have 3 rescue dogs, 2 cats. We have one that was held by a hoarder, lived her entire life in a cage. She can barely walk, but she's with us now, and she'll have some happy years ahead of her. But so many people feel so strongly about this, and these animals do need a voice. And I would also just like to point out that you mentioned Legislator Shaw, but Legislator Chris Rollison is also a part of this. This is a completely bipartisan and unanimously supported effort in the legislature. This is something that everyone can agree on. And I will tell you that it's being taken very seriously at the highest level. Our Sheriff, Kirk Imparati, has appointed his undersheriff, Jason Mark, to serve on this committee. Our District Attorney, Anthony Parisi, has appointed Nick Listella, who's the head of the Special Victims Unit, to participate, to be a member of this committee. We're so fortunate to have ACO Wallace, and a lot of what he's talking about today, this is what we want to do. We want to find the examples, we want to find the best practices and put them to use across the county, and I think we'll be able to do it. So thank you very much. I would just also add that a couple of things that we are working on, and some are just simple common sense. One of the problems that people have is when you see an abused animal, what do? Most people think, I'll call the SPCA. Well, they're going to refer you to the sheriff. The sheriff will say, where are you? If you're in Amenia, sure, we'll get someone out there. And as ACO said, they may be trained, they may not be trained. But if you're in town of Poughkeepsie or Fishkill, they'll then say, now you go call the local police. Then the local police will use discretion on when they can go out and what they might do. This is all based on good intentions. No one turns their back on this, but it's very, very complicated for people to even report abuse. So one of the first things we're going to recommend is that all these calls go to 911. so that there's immediately a case created so we can track what's happened and how these things are followed up on. And Commissioner Beal has already conceptually agreed to do that. So I think you're going to see a lot of action here in a short time, and will really, really improve the lives for our animals here. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the Affordability Fair, which is scheduled for September 17th, and I'm remembering now my very first time meeting with Ms. Ham, and the first thing she said to me is, you know, we just don't get anything from the county. She said, we're out here, it's like we're not part of this county. And when I became a legislator, I remember thinking, you know, I am gonna, and I remember Walter coming, all of you coming to my swearing in, and Walter got up there and said, don't forget us on the other side of the mountain. I say Amenia every time I'm in the legislature, but I'll just say the word, you know, just make sure that it's always mentioned. But we do not get the services, and the services are available. We just have to, you know, drag them over the mountain to bring them here, and that's what the intention is. The intention of this is to make a raft of services available to everyone in Amenia and surrounding communities. And we have the first one to sign on was the Dutchess County Office of the Aging. And just to share with you a couple of numbers in terms of what we are and are not, it's not that we're not getting, we're also not reaching out for it. Our people aren't aware of what's available. The Office of the Aging sent me some information on some of the services they offer. One is home hot delivered meals. In Pleasant Valley, which is about twice the population of Amenia, 43 people are having meals, hot meals delivered to their home. In Amenia, it's 5. They offer case management services, someone from the Office of the Aging that will work with someone to just manage all the things they're working on, to help them with all the things they got to deal with. Pleasant Valley, 32 people are signed up for this, 7 in Amenia. And it goes on and on. They have health insurance counselors to help people figure out what's best for them, how to manage through illnesses, and how to make sure that prescription drugs and everything else, they're getting the best coverage they can. 84 people in Pleasant Valley and 14 in Amenia. So let's bring these folks here. They're all coming. Senator Michelle Hinchy's office, Neil Bepan's office, the chair of the Dutchess County Legislature, Yvette Valdez-Smith, is going to come for this event. The Office of the Aging, the Cornell Cooperative Extension, Freshtown is participating, and the Hudson Valley Animal Rescue. I don't know if anyone's familiar with them. They're in Pleasant Valley. Great organization, and they have clinics, low-cost veterinary clinics. Something you might bring your dog to the vet might be $180. They may be able to do it for $40. So this is something that people need to be aware of. So there's so many different things that we can do, and Dawn has stepped up and said, let's figure out the best way to do this. We're talking about doing it outside now, so we'll figure that out. So I will hand out copies of this flyer, and I ask you all to please let everybody know about this, because this just isn't for seniors, this is for everybody. Any questions on this?
You're going to, I mean, it does say Amenia, but as I asked earlier, it's for anyone. So people from Dover want to come, Millerton, anyone?
Yeah, but they'll have to get behind the Amenia folks on the
Okay.
line. No, it's for anyone.
This is
It's not just.
wonderful, and it's very important. So, I mean, there's seniors all over this area, that and other people too, but
It's
like
not
you
just for
said-
seniors.
Right, exactly.
I mean, if you own
So-
a dog and your guy can't afford your pet bills, I mean, everyone talks about affordability, but there are things that we, as elected officials, can actually do to help people make things more affordable, help them save some money. But yes, it's anybody.
Thank you.
I remember at our Veterans Day, well, Memorial Day service, you handed me a packet and said, I will help anybody who is a family of a veteran or a veteran trying to obtain services and is kind of confused by the process.
Yep.
That you would personally help them navigate the system. My father died in February, and he served in the Korean conflict, and I thought, okay, I'm used to writing grants, I can get the military compensation and the gravestone, I got the gravestone embellished with his record of service, found his discharge papers, all of the things that I thought, and I submitted them, and I understood that anybody with a family member who was burying a veteran during that particular war, that they were to get $1,000 towards burial costs, so tombstones or such. So I was stymied. I submitted so much information. I have 2 years to figure this out. And I'm just wondering if we could use it as a case study, if
Yes.
there are other people who have veterans who have had an honorable discharge, who served in the wars that are in fact
Yep.
eligible. It just seemed so ridiculous that I couldn't navigate that. I'm used to writing grants. I fundraise for a living, and I thought, you know, our family, my father deserves this award, and I got all of the things except for the disbursement. Now, something I did was wrong, but I have literally a stack of papers this high, and I get a form letter back.
Yeah.
It says you didn't,
It's-
you don't qualify or whatever, and it was so confusing, I can't believe it. So if anybody else has had that problem, I'd be happy to work with you, with Eric Alexander, to work through the system, because we can afford the burial, no big deal. But I
Yeah.
bet there are other people who are family members who that would make a big, big difference.
Yep.
And I just find that the system should not be that complicated to
You're
navigate.
absolutely right, and that's what so much of this is, that so many of these benefits, and we have veteran services. As a matter of fact, Michelle Hinchy's office and Neil Beepin's office, they're expert in this, and they will help anyone that comes and signs up, because it's fair, so we'll help people. There's so many things that are so inaccessible that, you know, but I will tell you, you know, this is my job. From folks in Pleasant Valley are having problems with their water bill. I won't bore you with all the detail, but they have a very small water district. Their water bills have gone up to $400 a month. And I'm getting calls from them, and I must say I shocked them by returning their calls, then going and meeting with them. On September 15th, I'm bringing a dozen of them to meet with the executive director of the County Water and Wastewater Authority, Joe Churns. You know, I've got a card. I've never done this before. I've never been a political figure. I've got a card that people respond to. And it's my job to use that for my constituents. So we're coming up there, and we're going to meet with him, and I've already met with him on this, and there are a lot of reasons you can't do things, but we're going to find reasons that you can. And we're going to get these people some financial relief on these water bills. This notion that you are on your own, if you happen to be in a small water district, you're not. You know, there are ways to help relieve the pain. It's not their fault that the water has to come up the mountain and go into a stream, so the filtration has to be so expensive. I know I've got an expert here that knows more about this than I do, but it's my job to help all of my constituents.
Is it a private water system?
Not anymore. It was put in by a developer and then abandoned. It's now it's an independent water, it's one of the many, many water districts, but the smaller ones, you know, they really have problems. It gets very, very expensive. So there are grants available. We will find some way to reduce the financial relief. You know, there's all this talk about the pipes and everything, and I said, look, I don't know that he really gives about where his goes. This is about the money. So let's figure out a way to soften the letter.
So just to kind of wrap this up so everyone
Yes, I'm
understands.
sorry.
No, Eric, but I wanted to kind of end with another positive note, what you've done for our residents. You spoke with somebody in our southern end of town, and he went and he's working with them to save on their utility bills. And what Eric does is more than just, you know, be that person. He goes to their house, and then he drives to the utility company located, I don't know, Wappingers, and he gets those savings for you. So when he says call him, he's serious, call him. So this event that he's bringing here to Amenia, we want to publicize it. You asked me to help publicize it. This is how we're going to do it. Your board members are going to help share it on their social media platforms. We'll have this on our website. We'll have it on our light board out front. We want members of our community and our neighboring community to come to this event, because we want to be able to show our county representatives that we need you. We appreciate, you know, any savings or services that you are able to offer us. This event is going to take place right here, Thursday, September 17th from 5 to 7. So hopefully it's grabbing everyone as they're coming home from work or out of school. The plan is, and you know, weather permitting, of course, but it's going to be a beautiful fall day. We're going to be out in front of the town hall. That way, as you park in our lower parking lot, and we're going to have some parking up here. That way, you can see all of our offices and are represented from the various offices that are coming out. That way it's easy to get to, and we really want to support you as much as you've been supporting us in these short
Thank you
months.
so much.
So
Thank
I
you.
think this is going to be a great event, and I just hope everyone that can come through. If you're not able to stop here on Thursday, September 17th, call Eric. He'll take your call.
Please do. Is there anything else about the county I can tell you? Any other questions, any other concerns, any issues? Anybody? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so, we get back on track. Actually, you know what, yeah, I think that next we'll go with, we have another special guest tonight, Chief Deputy Riveri, who's going to speak to us about, and we will get back to our committees, but he's going to speak to us about flock cameras.
Just going to load up a quick presentation for you. That we've shown the other supervisors and mayors in a couple other towns that have asked us to speak. It's actually not there, so I don't want to show you something that you don't want to see. Things are crazy. Hello,
Hi.
Steve Riveri, the Chief Deputy of the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office. Thank you for having me. We are very happy to come and speak before town boards. Sheriff Kirk Imprati says hello. Unfortunately, he's on vacation, so you get stuck with just me. DA Parisi is also on vacation. Mike Brady's mother's birthday's today, so we gave him the night off as well. So here I am, 26-year veteran of the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office. Since 2006, I've been involved in the Field Intelligence Group, founding member of that, and we have transcended to becoming what we now call ARDIC, which is an Analysis and Real-Time Crime Intelligence Center. You guys spoke about leading the communities and shared services. We've been doing that for quite some time in Dutchess County, collectively with all of our partners, the 18 area agencies, the District Attorney's Office, the State Police, working together to serve better is our mantra. We want to do things smarter, not harder. We want to do things transparent. And I think one of the biggest questions the community has had is the transparency. And there is a lot of misnomers about all of the technology that we use in Dutchess County. So I'm just going to start way back in 2007. 2007, there was a murder in the town of Wappinger, town of Fishkill. It was an entire family that was killed. And the first way that we caught these people in 2007 was automatic plate readers. 2 drug dealers went in and killed a family of 5, the Morey family. Because of that instance and because of that technology, we were able to put 2 very violent, obviously, criminals on the scene and prove that they committed this crime. Very, very long ago, 2000, that's almost 20 years ago. This is technology that we have led not only the state but the country in utilizing. There's been surveys put out there about the use of ALPRs and the questions about them. And half of the people that have taken the survey just are not educated in what they actually do. They read internet comments, they get misinformation, and they don't understand, and they make their assumptions on that, which is fine. We're here to educate, and that's what we've been doing. If you go to artcic.org, It is a transparency portal set up by the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office and the Dutchess County District Attorney's Office, which has our policies, our procedures, and exactly what the technology we use does. It also has an audit that you can do publicly, right on the website. We're transparent. It also has where the plate readers are located, if they're on public property. We're transparent, it's right there. The examples also that we've done in Dutchess County are there as well. 2 days ago, there was a violent domestic in the town of Hyde Park. Suspect fled, and the information was shared amongst law enforcement. One of the great things that we have is the collaboration of law enforcement in Dutchess County. You don't see that everywhere. You do in Dutchess County. Through the sharing of the information that was gained through that case, within 57 minutes, that man was put in custody in the city of Beacon. That's quite a ride. I know about rides. My very first shift as a deputy sheriff back in 2000 was in the town of Amenia. I had never been here. I had never, ever been here. This is not my first time back. I can tell you the case about Yancey Kittredge, if you know that name. Yancey Kittredge was the man that cut down the cemetery cross and then swerved at an ambulance and pulled a gun and made that ambulance crash in the town of Amenia. It's back in 2005. I was out here then. I worked those roads. I love it out here. It's beautiful out here. I come out here a lot with my wife for dinner. The communities in Dutchess County are safe because collaboratively we work together to do that. Jurisdictional lines only matter to us and you. They don't matter to criminals. They really don't matter to criminals. They move around without the worry of a jurisdictional line. We have to follow those. The way we do it with a better view on this is to share, just like you're doing with the ACOs, sharing. So we have applications that allow us to share live information. For example, 3 months ago, and this is on Arctic, you can fact check me on this one, arctic.org. A woman took her 1-year-old baby from her father. They were estranged. She didn't have parental custody. She called the father saying that she did that from the caretaker and told her, I am going to kill the baby and dump it on a college campus. True story. Within 7 minutes, for the use of technology that we had, we were able to locate her car, share that information with local law enforcement, and she was found across from Marist University. The baby was saved. That's what we're using technology for in Dutchess County. We're not using it for traffic enforcement. We don't have red light cameras that we control. The only red light cameras I know of are on school buses, and that's run by the Stop DWI program and school safety program. They don't have facial recognition in them. They don't track your every movement. We only save the data for 30 days and it's expunged. That's the real facts of the technology that we use. I'm happy to always, and Legislator Alexander visited our office, came through, and said, wow, I think you looked at the DFR program, leading the country in drone as a first responder, DFR. We have now 4 dock drones in Dutchess County that at a moment's notice, we have pilots sitting in Poughkeepsie that 2 clicks of a mouse can launch a drone to get there quicker, faster, and safer than a police car can, than a fire truck can, than EMS can, and direct them in to have a safer response. Imagine that, a safer response just by a little bit of technology flying overhead. All, though, that's auditable, all that's reviewable, and all that has a lot of policy and procedure and law, just like ALPRs, just like our use of databases. We have an audit system. We have rules and regs, like we said, that's posted. We see what's happening, what information is used, and we are very cognizant to use it appropriately. That's why since 2007, we haven't had issues in Dutchess County. We don't have the issues that other communities have. You have 2 elected leaders in District Attorney Parisi and Sheriff Imperati that are elected to serve the people, are elected to keep people safe in their communities, and quite frankly, I believe they do an excellent job at it. Legislator Alexander, he sits on the chair of public safety. We're proud of what we do. We're proud of the technology we deploy in a responsible manner. And lastly, I'll add, every piece of technology that we use, there's a human validation component for any action that is taken. It's not robotic. It's a tool that we utilize to make decisions to keep our community safe. So I welcome any questions. I have a ton of technology I can talk about, not just ALPRs. I always welcome anybody to come visit. just give me a call. We welcome you to see it. We are fully transparent. The only thing we cannot share is criminal investigative information. That's it.
So when you say the data after 30 days is expunged, can you elaborate on what you mean by expunged?
It's deleted. It's gone. After 30 days, the license plate reader data is gone.
And it's not shared with other agencies or?
After 30 days, no. Within 30 days, it's a sharing network, of course. But there's criteria to search this. You can't just search ABC123 on a whim. You have to have a case number, an incident type. That's what we audit. We make sure that anytime this is searched, it's for a criminal case. It's a criteria. It's not an open search. It's not the Yellow Pages or Google. It's very controlled, very much so. Again, we've been doing this since 2007. This is not new to us. And I can give you example after example of the cases that we've utilized to close. From everything from stolen vehicles to people in peril that were going to commit suicide, that their loved one called and said, my boyfriend is running or driving to the walkway over the Hudson to jump. What's his vehicle? What's his name? What's he look like? We put it out there in the sharing network, and it's amazing. It's amazing how we're able to intervene and get that person help.
So why the public outcry? If you've been using this since 2007, is it just more visible? I know in Pine Plains suddenly there were some pink surveyor tape. I remember hearing that controversy and people wondering what that was.
So I can address that. That was a different department. It wasn't the sheriff's office or district attorney's office deploying in Pine Plains. It was people who hadn't used the technology before, ever, buying or making an agreement with a company and not following a procedure that should be followed. You know, if people do things they've never done before and they don't know the rules they should learn them. So to put something on somebody's property without asking permission, that's kind of a problem. We don't do those things.
That was on private property.
Correct, and they didn't ask permission. All of a sudden it showed up.
Okay.
And that's wrong. That's not right. We don't do that. We would never do that.
So you've been doing this since 2007. Flock cameras is not a new thing.
Nope. It's like calling a tissue Kleenex. It's just a company
It's
name.
purchased by the county. Who pays for those installations?
Well, it's part of a contract, so it's a county contract through grant money. Most of it's through grants. Others is through budgetary funds.
And they're continuing to add more cameras, is that right?
We haven't added any in some time.
Okay, so the ones in Amenia have been here since 2007?
Not since 2007. We've just used that technology since 2007. It's since 2020, 2021 is when we made the program more robust, since Arctic was created as a sharing platform for all law enforcement in Dutchess County, a one-stop shop, but really just brought in all technologies to one place.
So it was made more robust in 2021, is that what I heard?
2020, 2021, yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and meaning more robust, meaning it's more pervasive.
No, it means there are either more cameras in certain places or just inclusion through APIs. You talked about writing grants and technology through the APIs of sharing different systems into one platform. If I showed you the Flock OS platform, Flock OS isn't ALPR, it's more camera sharing. It's more ingestion of different cameras throughout Dutchess County, mostly county cameras, allowing us to see them in one pane of glass. So if you've ever sat in front of a CCTV unit or anything like that, there's hundreds of cameras in front of you. This brings it into one screen with a dot on the map that says, if I need to look at a camera, and Supervisor Ham, we've talked about Beekman, right? And the park there, Beekman Park, to make sure that we could cover that. Instead of knowing that camera 75 was on Beekman Park, it has a dot on the map. It's just an API that does things in a better form. It's smarter, not harder, as I said in the beginning. It's really just utilizing technology that's already existed in a better way, if that makes sense.
More efficient, and more effective.
100%. Oh, yeah. I'm going to share the slides with you guys. I'm going to send it out so you can see, because the visuals of seeing a board of 400 camera screens like we did 20 years ago. It's down to one screen now with dots on a map, so when you need to see the call for service, right, it has to have a call for service. You can't just look at a camera. Doesn't matter what camera it is. On Main Street in Poughkeepsie, and it's at the corner of Market, we can literally click on the little icon now and pull that camera up live. We've always had that camera view since CCTV was up, but we didn't have it to be able to see live on a moment's notice on a map very easily with all the other cameras together. You know, we prevented pursuits. You know, you talk about vehicle pursuits and how dangerous they are. They're very dangerous inherently. Now we can actually track a vehicle, where it's going in certain municipalities that we have camera access, to say the car is going up Main Street, it made a left onto Winnicke or wherever. We don't have to send 40 police cars. We're getting ahead of him. We're getting ahead of that person and working smarter and more safe for the community, not just the deputies and the officers.
For our viewing audience, how many flock cameras are in Amenia proper?
We talked about that. Was it 3, Supervisor, I think we said?
That's what I
I believe
heard.
it was 3.
And does that include Wassaic?
Yeah, that would include Wassaic, and
Okay.
the whole town of Amenia. Correct.
And there, I would assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there would also be some in Dover Plains and some in Millerton.
I believe every municipality in Dutchess County almost has at least one.
Okay.
So it's strategically placed, right? So thoroughfares where crime is committed or people flee, we're going to put a camera. We're going to be able to do that. So we wanted to basically just, we're transparent, right? So we want to hit our hot spots first, where crime is really prevalent, and then we wanted to hit the places they fled to, so as they left. And we wanted to surround Dutchess County to make sure Dutchess County is safe. Our eastern parts of Dutchess County, there's a lot of crime that comes from Connecticut and goes back. A lot, especially vehicle thefts. We want to make sure that we can capture those events.
I watch a lot of British television. This is nothing compared to what they have over there.
Oh, my goodness, no. No.
But, so it's, the website again is, not website, but.
Yeah, arctic.org. It's a
Could
website.
you?
artcic.org.
ARTCRIC.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's one I sent to you.
Okay, that's when I
Yeah.
looked at that. So if anyone
Anyone.
wants to look at it, they can.
Sure. We welcome them to.
That's wonderful.
We put our policies on there. Again, this is a community project.
The other question I had was when I was doing some research on this, some communities, I'm not saying here, but around the country are also using private cameras on people. I mean,
Yeah.
when we were out knocking on doors, so many Ring cameras around here, those are all the same thing, so people shouldn't be so worried.
The device in your pocket should worry you more than
Yeah,
the flock
really.
camera should, quite honestly.
Are we using any of those here? Any
Oh, we
private?
welcome people to submit where their cameras are, and they can, if they choose, give access. Again, only utilized during a commission of a crime
Right.
or
Do
emergency event.
you know of any that are being used
Yep.
in here?
In Dutchess County?
Amenia?
Not in Menia. In
Not
Dutchess
in
County,
Menia.
yes.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So if we had let's just say there was a crime here in our town hall, and we have our own cameras and security system, and we have captured a portion of that, we could share that with your.
Yeah, so 2 ways of sharing. There's live sharing, which through technology, there's a network connection through the cameras, that if an event happened and someone calls in the emergency, we can live view and send deputies or troopers, whoever, because it's a shared service, to the event in a direct manner, knowing exactly what's happened. Conversely, after the fact, we can always take video in and analyze it
Okay.
that way as well.
There are 2 ways of
Always.
accessing private
Correct.
data.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Could you go up to the podium, please? It's just because people can't hear, so that's all.
What's your
We
question?
actually did talk, I did talk to, and I think it was Sheriff Ibrati, about when we had problems at Beekman Park, about having cameras there and giving the deputies access to those cameras so that they could see live action. We haven't done anything about that yet, but I know it's something that we considered because, there is quite a bit of activity that goes on there at night. There's some spots, there's a lot of activity that I wasn't aware of until recently, in the bottom of Depot Hill there at the parking lot
Real trouble.
at the rail trail parking lot. I mean, there's a lot of activity going on there. So there's a lot of things going on that we're not even kind of aware of until we find the remnants and people start complaining on Facebook that they're finding these things in the park. I think that there is a place for that, and I'm assuming that you're not selling this information to China, which I
No,
see.
none of it's for sale, unfortunately.
And so, it's, some of it, I think, is a misunderstanding about what these cameras are used for and how they are used.
Well, we did have vandalism happening in several occasions where they did vandalism on the gym side of the outside brick walls. So I could see something like that, nipping that sort of thing in the bud, because it costs so much money to try and clean off those graffiti.
I'll tell you, one of the priorities is the school districts and working with the school districts, get access to their cameras for emergency response. That is a big priority of the sheriff and the DA and myself.
You have a question?
Yeah. Are you going to do Beekman Park, or is that in the process of being done?
No, it's not in the process of being done, no.
Can you reiterate the question so that
So, Mr. Flood asked if we are, have we done anything or started the process at Beekman Park? We have not. We've had some initial conversations. We've had initial conversations with A&R, who is our security people for the building. And, you know, it kind of was one of those things that got put on the back burner, because I don't think sometimes the biggest problem is when the park is not being used, and I think it's being used more in the summertime. But I think it's a conversation that we need to take a look at again. But I do know that the sheriffs do a sweep every shift through the park. So that I do know is happening.
Is there a cost to a municipality if they wanted to do a real-time sharing of a trouble spot? Let's say there was a hot spot that we needed to track and we already had our security cameras there. Would the town be able to just simply offer that
I could tell you now, there's spots available that are paid for, that municipalities that get in early would probably not have to pay for, because it's already part of our project.
So it could be free if we get in early?
It could be.
Could be. Okay, all right. Just curious.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Can I just add something to that?
Sure.
First of all, Chief Deputy, thank you for being here as well. So he was talking about agency collaboration. I want that as well. I'm not picking on other agencies because of lack of knowledge on a certain topic. I want to expand that knowledge. I've worked closely with some of your deputies here, Shear and Deputy Schultz. I've worked very closely with them. I mean, the three of us were chasing that Rottweiler through that snowstorm that we had, and that was a tough one. So, but that dog did end up getting adopted out. I never found who dumped him, so that was pretty much an open case for now, and nothing's come up. But we have 2 years until we find something. We'll see what happens, but I doubt we're going to find that person at this point. I can't speak to the flock camera systems or the APLR systems, but that would help as well, because we do have a lot of dumping going on in this area. Recently, we had 2 beagles that were dumped, and it may have come from Connecticut, because we do get a lot of dogs that come from Connecticut as well. So it's an ongoing issue. It's not just an animal cruelty issue, it's a criminal issue across the board. Because if it's not just the animal cruelty thing, it expands always into something greater. So I appreciate the deputy for coming here and expanding on that as well, so thank you.
And we're very fortunate to have 3 such great guests here tonight speaking, and I appreciate all of you taking the time to come out here.
Right.
And coming on the other side of the hill to speak to us, so thank you very
Right,
much, all of you.
so anytime I run into an issue, I'm willing to work with you guys. If you guys have any trouble, please call me. If you have a potential cruelty issue and you're not sure, I can't investigate in this town or this area or other neighboring towns besides Dover and Wingdale, but I can help you facilitate as far as the investigation goes. I can give you, aid you in that as far as knowledge goes, and I can tell you guys what to do and what to look for.
Okay.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Flood, do you want to speak on the water?
You top that presentation.
What's that?
You have to top.
I just have a question. Does that stuff do traffic as well, or no?
Traffic is a broad word.
Like, we have cars driving through the red lights here like 80, 90 miles an hour.
It does not do speed.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We did have a speed wagon here, though, for a while.
That's worthless.
Down on 343, which is a totally different thing. That monitors the speed, right?
It does speed well past the
Right, that's exactly what it is. I saw a guy go through at 86 miles an hour on 343. So, it doesn't stop
Yeah,
anything,
there's some scary stuff that goes on, for sure.
especially at that intersection. Anyway, the water company. So there's been some questions about the grant, I believe, on Laval Road. It's about the cost of the taxpayers. If everything goes correctly with the grants that we've received, that should be at no cost to the taxpayers or anybody in the water district. So we're on budget at this point, so everything seems to be doing okay. They're going to bring the modular unit in here any minute. I think it's October, something like that, November, they'll bring it in here, and that's the final part of that. And then next year, they'll do the tank. That'll be retrofitted. We did have a leak on Midway, which was not a broken pipe, is one of the, whatever the coupling that they put on the thing came apart. It's on,
Which is up on my table.
It's on
I
the-
brought it, and I should have brought it for show and tell, but I forgot.
it's on the supervisor's desk, so it came apart, but that was in the ground. Today, we did have an issue with one of the wells, up on Washington Court. The production has dropped to half of what it was. So they've been monitoring it for a little while, and they have, I think the pump company was coming today to check it out and see if they can figure out what's wrong with it, if it's the pump, or if there's a hole in one of the, the all galvanized pipes. So it's leaking water somewhere, we're losing water. It's not producing what it should be. I think it produced like 40 gallons when it was drilled, it's down to like 15. So there's an issue. And then one well, that of the two that were fracked, one is online, the second one has not been online yet. So I did email the engineering company today to see where we are with that, and they answered it this afternoon that they'll get on it and find out what's got to be done with that to finish that, so we can get that well back online. And I think, other than that, that's it. But I do have a question while we're talking about the police department. The traffic here is unbelievable. I'm just going to give you an example, and I'll shut up. The other night, I was walking my dog. A lady was coming west on 343, ran the red light with a carload of kids. And the guy was coming, had a green light coming north. How he missed her, I'll never know. And she stopped. She sat in the road for probably 2 or 3 minutes because she knew she came that close to getting, a serious automobile accident. But it's a problem there. And
She just didn't see it, or,
she ran a light.
yeah?
There's been a study now that 90% of Americans' speed is just commonplace all over. Going to work, 684, it's 80 miles an hour. We need police to start ticketing again. I've written a lot about living on 22. I've written to the board and everything about what I think needs to be done in this town for these roads. It's very difficult with DOT to get them to reduce speeds.
Well, it's not
change
even,
lights.
there's nobody to enforce it.
Lights that you can't see are green unless you're up near them, but it costs money, no one wants to do it, but we're aware of it, and we think about it a lot. I just want you to know. That's all I'm saying.
When they're late for that train, that's the worst. When they're late for the
Oh,
train,
yeah. Oh, I know.
it's unbelievable.
Because sometimes I'm driving to work and they're right in front of just pull out of my driveway, and then they go into the other lane to pass me because they're doing 75.
Yeah.
I know. It happens almost every day. And
We
I
need a
drive 30
police
in
force.
town. It's speed limit, not speed max. You can go lower, so it's too bad.
Any questions about the water? Well, you're here, I'm here. We're good? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Recreation?
Well, the summer camp closed on August 7th. It was a great success. I went and visited a few times, and so many people to thank. I want to thank Maplebrook and the staff there for helping. I want to thank the Amin USA Community Organization for donating. Want to thank the town employees, the bookkeeper and Nancy, who handled a lot of the last-minute paperwork that was necessary to get everything into place. It was something that I think was very helpful. I mean, the kids have been doing that for quite a few years, but it would be nice to see us be able to continue that and possibly expand it. Need to have discussions during the budget process we're in now, and need to have discussions with the town hall on how, with the town board on how we would, and where we would hold it. I wasn't here after the senior picnic. I don't know, Nicole may have said all this already, so if she did, that's great, but it was a great picnic. There were, I should have taken a real count, and I didn't. There were about somewhere between 40 and 50 people there. A lot of people came from the town hall to help serve, and some of the seniors that were there at the end helped us clean up and get all the garbage out and all of that, so that was very nice. Good time was had by all. We used local businesses to provide the food, and that was nice. We are going to be starting the soccer program in September. Nicole is busily working out the teams and all of that. Cassidy and she are in charge of that. I know nothing about sports, so that's their gig. We have the Harvest Festival coming up again on October 17th, and I'll throw a plea out there for volunteers, especially as it comes near to that day, because there's a lot of just grunt work that has to be done the days before and the day of afterwards. We are about to meet with the Nexus Creative to try to wrap up the master plan revision update. Trying to think, they're probably, we have the trunk or treat is set for October 31st at Four Brothers parking lot again. We spoke to them, very grateful to them for letting us use the space. So it'll be from 1 to 3:30. And anyone who wants to come and give treats out from their trunk should email or call us, email recreation@aminiany.gov, or call at the town hall. And we just need you to register so that we know which vehicles are going to be there and have information on them. Pretty sure that's it for that. I will say, I have to just throw in one other little thing here too. I live steps away from the intersection. People just run the light. It doesn't even honestly matter if they're only going 35, 40 miles an hour. That's fast enough. You have an accident, you have an accident. It's not going to be good no matter what. And they simply go right through it. I mean, sometimes they see a yellow light and continue going to the point where it's red before they even get into the intersection. Sometimes they enter it after it's already turned red. It's really quite amazing to me that people do that and get away with it.
I was at the intersection one time. The light turned green for me to go north, and all of a sudden, a semi is turning south, honks at me. 4 of them come through. Guess who they were? DOT. DOT did that.
Yeah.
The country is a mess. The world's a mess. People don't care.
Common courtesy
Sorry.
is out the window, quite honestly. But if there was a way to get a light, a red light camera to take pictures and ticket these people, I think it would have some effect. I'm not sure anything's ever going to stop people from acting like idiots, but it would have some effect, and that would be useful. So that's my little comment on that. Thanks.
On a positive note, I would also like to add that I received word that the Maplebrook pool is almost totally repaired and will be available for use probably in mid-September, so hopefully, I spoke with Judy, hopefully we can figure out a way that we can start up the summer programs again, or the swimming programs again, the use of the pool. So I think Judy and I are gonna meet with Daryl Hayes, the head of school at Maplebrook, and, you know, hopefully we can get that started up again, so that would be really great. I think we have everybody now that did reports. Wow. So we have a couple of discussion items. One is the donation of benches. I mentioned this before. The gentleman called me again. He talked about putting them on the rail trail, and it occurred to me that if we put benches along the rail trail, that we would have to get county permission, county involvement and all of that, which may make it more difficult. So I asked him if he would consider putting it on town property, which would be easier, and, you know, possibly somewhere here at Town Hall, or, you know, the playground behind here, or the basketball court, or, you know, down in Beekman Park. He wanted to get a bench. He actually wants to get 2 benches ultimately. One, his father had passed, and he wants to get one in memory, donate one in memory of his father, and his mother's 93, and someday he would like to get one in memory of her. So he is going to be up here. He lives in Texas, but he's going to be up here, I guess, in the next couple of weeks, and we're going to kind of walk around and see where the possibility they could be. I also even thought about if we move forward with Fountain Square, that maybe, you know, any benches, you know, there.
Definitely need more seating, yes.
So we will talk about that and how that can be done, but he was open to having it on, you know, having it on town property as opposed to county property. So that was a good thing. And that's really all I wanted to share about that, but how do you feel about that? Is everybody okay with it? All right, so when he comes up, I'll let you know when he's coming. If any of you can join, you can, or if you can't, I'll certainly report back.
I will say that on the stretch of rail trail between Hamlet of Wasaig to Wasaig train station, I think benches along there would be helpful for people who walk can go a short distance, then they need to rest, and then go a short distance and then rest. It's just a thought, and I can ask, since I'm talking anyway to Metro North Railroad about what it would take, whether benches would require the kind of work permits and flagmen and all of that to simply install benches.
But if it's on the rail trail, then that's the county, not Metro.
No, we own,
On ours.
well, it's our right of way between
Okay.
Wasaig and
the
train station.
Right.
That is our maintenance agreement. And I would just have to check and find out to what degree that raised the kind of level of, if it's just our highway crew putting some footings down to make sure they don't get stolen, I don't think they're gonna require flagmen and all of that, and work permits. I think we could just do that as regular maintenance. But I can find out for sure, but I
That would
think,
be great.
I know people with problems that have trouble, they need to sit down, and my mom was one, we would carry her chair for her so that she would sit and rest, and then walk another step. So that's just a thought. It doesn't have to be the entire length, but it could start giving somebody a chance midway to catch their breath.
And that's fine, so I'll talk to him about that. You find out, well, first you
I'll find out, yeah, to
before,
what level
right.
that requires permits.
The other thing I wanted to discuss or get your advice or talk to you about is the lights in Wasaig, the vintage lights across from 44 Main. It is technically, I guess, called the Pocket Park there, right in the center, across from the Lantern Inn. We were getting a bill saying that they could not read our meter, and that they were gonna start charging us an additional $100 a month for those lights, unless we did something to make them accessible. So I was not quite sure what that exactly meant. So I called my contact at NYSEG, and he said, basically that's what it was. So Megan went down and looked at the meter, and the meter wasn't working. So it was dead. And so I called the guy back at NYSEG, very nice man, and he could actually, from my description, he could actually go through and get the exact number of the meter and everything, and he says, no, you're absolutely correct, it's not working. We'll send out a crew. So they did, and I didn't hear back, and then we got a final bill saying that they're, to the extent, I think that they're, you know, the kind of that automated generated thing that they're gonna turn the lights off. Which he assured me that they're not in the business of doing that to town, so I'm hoping that's true. However, it's not the meter that's the problem, it's the cable that runs from the transformer to the meter, which is underground. And so they had called a guy, and I can't think of his name, I apologize, but an electrician down in Dover that they had dealt with before in that particular spot. So I called him, and he said that he had been, you know, that this had been an issue for almost a year, and that he had contacted people, and they said it was going to be taken care of, and it was never taken care of for whatever reason. So I said to him to get us a quote on what it would cost for him to do that. And I'm assuming we'd have to get more than one quote. Would we have to get, even though NYSEG has worked with them before?
The fact that work was done before wouldn't weigh into it. If it's a new deal, it's a maintenance thing, you would have to get 3 quotes.
Okay.
Unless it's below the.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will have to go through both then to fix that, but we should do that as soon as possible. I have not gotten his quote yet, but we do have an electrician that we've used in town as well. I'll have him look at it. Now, if he's the one that we use for the town, Ian, do we still need to, I mean, if he comes in lower, can we? So he's the one who's kind of our town electrician.
I don't recall if we have a contract with him, or we approved a contract with him, or if it was just as needed for projects that were probably below the procurement value. So I would just get quotes from each. He's our guy that we've used a lot. He'd probably be able to give you a favorable quote.
All right, so we'll get the quotes, but then we'll, and it depends on, and I haven't had a chance to talk to our highway superintendent, but he said it would be cheaper if we had somebody who could dig the hole when they locate where the break is. Is that a possibility? We'll talk. Thank you. So it's okay to kind of move ahead with this then?
Oh, I think we have to.
Okay. All right. So that's all I have for that. So now we are on resolutions, so we need to wait.
Yep, so do you guys have anything for the non-consent agenda? Or other matters?
Other matters, you have other matters?
I have a few things, just announcements, I can do that. And I know Walter knows about it, so. So East Fishkill Data Center, that's a proposed data center.
Vicki,
What's that?
we're just gonna,
Oh, wait.
We should
Wait,
wait for Walter.
oh, wait for,
because
oh, it's just an
technically we don't
announcement.
even.
Okay,
yeah.
Technically, we don't have a quorum.
When he left it,
okay,
so we're just.
We're dwindling in numbers here.
okay.
Begin.
So we can go back then, just give him a second.
Okay, so we'll go to the
back.
resolutions, consent agenda.
Okay.
Righty, so this evening, we have on the consent agenda, resolution number 68, resolution introducing a local law, smoking and vaping. Resolution number 69, adopting the 2026 emergency operations plan. Resolution number 70, authorizing an increase in salary for building inspector, code enforcement officer. Resolution number 71, transfer of funds. Is there a motion to accept resolution 68 through 71 as presented?
I make that motion?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, now Vicki.
Okay. We have no non-consent agenda, non-consent resolutions. So other matters, you were,
Yeah, I was just going to announce some upcoming events that our residents might be interested in. if you're following the data center moratorium issue, the possibility of New York State as a whole opting in or out of having data centers or communities instigating a moratorium on this, there's a roundtable discussion that will be happening on Wednesday, August 26th at 2 o'clock. It's on at the Lime Kiln Recreation Park, 5 Old Lime Kiln Road in Hopewell Junction. It's one of our elected officials, I think, is going around the state of New York trying to help people understand the impact that a data center being proposed in your community might have on your water resources, et cetera. Dutchess County Household Hazardous Waste Disposal and Electronics Recycling event is happening on September 19th, and the online registration has begun as of August 19th. Yesterday, I guess, 8 a.m. to 12:30. It'll be happening at Dutchess County Fairgrounds. I think everybody knows where the fairgrounds is in Rhinebeck. Registration is required, and there's a fee of $10 per household, and space is limited to the first 400 registrants. And you can do it online as of September 18th. I guess they only opened the online registration the day before, using a credit card, or you can register and pay by check. Checks. So you should call 845-486-2841 or go onto their Dutchess County Hazardous Waste Disposal website and find out what all is being accepted. It's very specific. Appliances as well. So if your transfer station doesn't accept appliances or whatever you happen to have, this might be an option for you. You want to make sure that you have time. There's a wait. If you're 400 people are coming in from 8 to 12:30 at the Dutchess County Fairgrounds, you're even with pre-registration, be prepared to wait. EV charging stations. We just received the contract from New York State DEC, so we can start reimbursing the cost of whatever it's cost us to offer the free EV charging service to electric vehicles at Amenia's Rail Trail parking lot on Mechanic Street, Depot Hill Road, and Railroad Avenue, that intersection. So we're eager to submit the bills that we've incurred so far this year, and we understand, at least what I understood, is that we need to do quarterly reports. I am wondering who is going to be tracking that and submitting and getting reimbursed. Is that something I work with you, Rosanna, to find out who has capacity for doing that, or?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because I don't think this is something Christie does as our town grant person, so we'll have to work that out. Yeah, and sooner rather than later, because I know we do have bills to submit. I'm wondering what the next step is for getting a contract for hiring Aspect 120. Is that something you need to tighten up?
I'm sorry, I missed.
Aspect 120 is the landscaping architect for?
Yes, so I think we've cleared up the insurance issue, so it's just, I have to review the contract now.
And to see what else is outstanding, because that was the two things that you'd flagged. Now there may be other issues.
Well, the insurance was the issue that was presented to me. We worked through that issue. Now I can go through the rest. I mean, once we clear that up, then I was going to review the contract. So
Okay.
that's on to the.
Okay, I just didn't know if there was anything more that we need to do on our.
No, other than me finishing review of the contract.
So we would need a resolution for that, and
Yes.
so,
That's great.
do you have any time frame that we might be able to do that?
Next meeting, I think would be.
I think if we, then we would just authorize the signing of that contract.
Correct, we'd authorize a contract.
Has she already signed, or we need to go back to
No,
that?
she
Oh,
hadn't.
she'd have to
She sent
sign.
it to us with the insurance issue, which is what the board discussed and we have negotiated. Now it's time to review the contract.
Okay. And then I was going to announce also that we can start thinking about what we want to have repaired. If you have items that like bikes that need to be repaired or serviced, knives or tools sharpened, minor clothing repairs, patches, seams, that kind of thing. The CAC is holding a mini repair cafe on Saturday, August 17th, as part of the Harvest Festival. It'll be in front of the library.
October.
Sorry, did I say September?
You said August.
Oh my gosh, it already had passed. So, yes, thank you for catching that. So Saturday, October 17th on East Main Street, right in front of the library. We'll have a couple of tables, and we'll have 2 Amenia repair people who are very good at a wide variety of things. So if you have minor electrical issues, maybe a lamp or let's say an extension cord that just needs a new plug or whatever, they can probably do it. CSC, right, that's it. Thank you very much.
I have a public service announcement. I found out recently that stinging insects become much more aggressive August through October. And from the Old Farmer's Almanac, it says they've had all summer to build up their population. This means the nests are bigger and many more babies have been born. At the same time, winter is around the corner and the insects, such as bees, wasps, need to keep their queen alive so they can prosper, basically. Compounding this tends to be where fewer flowers and less nectar is available to them. The reason I bring this up is because a week ago Sunday, I was stung by a yellow jacket. I've been stung by bees and wasps and everything all my life. Nothing much has happened. But I found out Sunday that one can develop a severe allergic reaction to any of these insects. I now carry an EpiPen with me. I was at Sharon Hospital. The doctor said, good thing, because my lungs were filling up with fluid. So I just want people to be really aware that these insects are really, I see them all the time now, they're really out there. Be very careful. Make sure your children and pets are also being very cautious around these, especially the yellow jackets, because you don't know where they are. They come out of the ground and they just attack. So good luck, everyone, and I hope everyone's safe.
Thank you. Okay, public comment on all business.
Okay, first of all, on the animal control, very much appreciate that presentation, and he makes a very good point. People who abuse animals frequently accelerate from that into other things. It's something we definitely should take seriously. On Walter's comment, my first husband got stung by 6 wasps when he was taking an antenna down, and later in his life developed the allergy and now has to carry a pen around too. You can develop it. A lot of people aren't aware of that. I wasn't until it happened to him, really. So let me see. There was one other thing I wanted to say, and my brain is putty right now. Well, that's about it. Thank you.
Okay, so on that note, I think I will make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Any opposed?